Hey guys, it's Mooty here, and I have a battle against Chase, and his link will be in the description. This one is post-comm. I know you guys don't like post-comm as much, but I figured I'd throw post-comm in among all my live commentaries just for the people who don't have as much time on their schedule. So, this is the Lopunny team I'm running. This is actually the very first battle I had with it, so I wasn't exactly too confident with it yet, but after playing with it a while more, I'm really confident with it. So, really annoying things that I don't want to deal with are Scizor, because Scizor is usually the one thing that gives me a lot of problems. So I'm just thinking that alright, well, keep Heatran around, it shouldn't be that difficult, but then Scizor is still a problem to deal with. Greninja, another huge one, because honestly, there is nothing to safely switch into Greninja, ever. Greninja is one huge threat, and I just really have to watch out for that. I think in this battle, I ended up leading off with Landorus, because I felt like leading off with a fast Scarf Pokemon and just U-turning out or whatever would have been my best option, but he leads off with his own Landorus too. And the thing is, because he gave me one of his Landorus, we know we're using the same set, so we have speed ties with this. And first turn, we both just knock off each other's choice scarves, so this first turn was very productive. And then I just decided to U-turn out, thinking, alright, well, I'll preserve my Landorus just on the off chance that Breloom comes in or Scizor comes in and I want to get an Intimidate off on them. So I figured it was really useful for me to preserve that, and I really felt like he was only going to try and either Stone Edge me or U-turn out as well. The critical Stone Edge kind of it was really inconvenient, because Heatran was one of the Pokemon that I really need to keep around for Scizor. So I feel like that extra damage on it, the crit, was really annoying in general, and it kind of limited the survivability of my Heatran. So I come in here, get another Intimidate off on him. He, I guess, knocks off, maybe just to get damage, expecting to die, but he actually switches out here and he goes into his Breloom. From here, I think I also go for a Stone Edge because I wanted to take him out. So obviously he predicted that, went into Breloom. Breloom threatens Pokemon out with Spore. I honestly decided to U-turn out because I wanted to keep the Intimidate around, and then I figured if I go into another Pokemon to take the Spore, then I might as well Heal Bell it later on. So I knew a Spore was coming, and then I also knew that I had to keep Heatran around for Scizor, but I was really fearing right now that the Mach Punch was coming, so I went into my Landorus so I can get an Intimidate off on the Breloom and at least make it less of a threat and take less damage from it. But he predicts that, goes for a Bullet Seed, and I believe Landorus here dies because he gets 3-turn Bullet Seed, and that's enough to take out my Landorus. However, Breloom now is at least at -1, slightly less of a threat. So I figured I could also come in with any Pokemon and kill him off if I have to, and he's also Life Orb on top of that too, so his health is going down a lot. I knew a Fake Out from Lopunny would take him out, but just to be safe, I wasn't going to predict and go for Ice Punch predicting Landorus, because either way, the Landorus coming in was going to end up dying anyway. So the only thing that he actually accomplished in this little scenario was just being able to intimidate me and sacking off his Landorus over there. But either way, I'm happy because Lopunny gets the Fake Out kill on the Landorus over here. It leaves him 1 HP, but an Ice Punch is enough to take it out from there. And so obviously Breloom, it's just another one of those issues, because unless I come in on it and fake it out, then I won't be able to deal with it, and it's going to probably kill my Lopunny. And I'm just trying to preserve Lopunny, because Lopunny is just it makes people switch their Pokemon. It's just a huge offensive presence. So I went into the Latios here either expecting a Volt Switch or a Will-O-Wisp, in which case Latios wouldn't mind either of them, and if I really want to later on, I can bring Clefable in, and like I said, I could Heal Bell the Sleep and I can Heal Bell the Burn. So here I went for the Thunderbolt just to get neutral damage. He sacks off his Breloom, which is fine as well. I think with his team, because Landorus was gone, I felt like Thunderbolt was the safest option there, and I didn't want to put myself at -2 by going for a Draco and potentially missing. So Greninja comes in here, and Greninja, like I said, is one of those Pokemon that there is no safe switch into. So I went into my Heatran here thinking he might go for a U-turn, And just because obviously, you know, it's Latios, and since Latios is such a huge threat, he probably wants to get it out of the way. So I figured he was going to go for a U-turn here. U-turn takes that very nicely. Unfortunately, still, my health is just going lower and lower, and that just makes it a lot more difficult for me to be able to use this thing against Scizor when I'm going to need to take care of it. So he goes into his heat train over here, and he also has air balloon. I'm going to end up switching out, and I'm going to end up going into my Lopunny here, and I figured at the very least, as long as he stays in, it's going to give me the option to break his air balloon. But he also sets up Stealth Rock here. I get a Fake Out off on him and get his air balloon to pop. And usually Heatran does not carry Protect unless it's a Toxic Stall set. So I decided the safest play is just to high jump kick it, and that's definitely going to take it out from that range. It's probably an OHKO even without the Fake Out, but just in case I went for a Fake Out. So now he goes into Scizor, and like I said, I don't want to deal with Scizor, and the thing that I find out later on is that this Scizor is so bulky to where my high jump kicks don't even do like that much. I stayed in thinking he was gonna U-turn here. Actually, I felt like he was really gonna U-turn, so I stayed in, went for a high jump kick. But seeing how much that high jump kick did was not a lot at all. It wasn't even half, and that's coming from a Pokemon that has a huge attack stat. So he goes into Rotom here. I'm obviously expecting a Will-O-Wisp or a Volt Switch, but I went into my Clefable here thinking I could take either one of them, and I could also use this as an opportunity to Heal Bell if I have to. He went for the Will-O-Wisp, but the miss honestly doesn't matter because anyway, I'm going to end up Heal Belling over here, and he's going to go for a Hydro Pump to find out that his Hydro Pump really doesn't do a lot to my Clefable at all since I'm pretty bulky. That also gives me an option to get my Heal Bell off. So right now my Heatran's rid of his Sleep, and Latios is rid of the residual damage of Burn. So that's what I was trying to accomplish there, just because I knew I wanted to keep Heatran and try and preserve Heatran. So then here kind of became my goal to Wish Pass to Heatran because I knew that I had to keep Heatran around for the Scizor. It was really one of the only ways that I could kind of deal with Scizor, or at least, you know, threaten him and force switches. So here I went for a Wish. The thing with Greninja is, as always, it can also carry Gunk Shot, and it becomes risky for me to stay in because I already know he's partially a physical set because he carries U-turn. So here I protected, first of all, to get the Wish off and scout and see what he was going to want to go for. Although because he is Life Orb, either way, he could switch up his attacks. So I get my Wish off, and then I believe here, I don't quite remember what I think I ended up switching out because I wanted to keep Clefable around. And like I said, Greninja has no safe switch-ins. I was really thinking he was still going to go for a Hydro Pump or maybe a Dark Pulse, but he turns out here. So this, one huge misplay because I end up losing Greninja, and Greninja is just one of those Pokemon that does a lot of damage, causes a lot of switches, and it would have been really nice to have that offensive presence there. So what I'm going to end up doing after he goes into Rotom, I'm going to go into my Latios here, and this is where I knew he was going to stay in, and that's why I went for the Draco Meteor, and I missed. And this is one of the most pivotal moments. I knew he was going to stay in and not go out into Scizor, so I went for the Draco, but the Draco missed, and I missed out on a huge chunk of damage that would have helped me later on. And honestly, this is the one miss in this game that really kind of made the battle a lot worse off for me than it was going already. So here I had no safe switch into Greninja. If I went for the Draco, at the very least, it would have limited the amount of times Rotom would switch in. It would have definitely made him not want to switch in Rotom as much because, like I said, I was ready to sack off Latios there to the Greninja. But now that Rotom comes back out, I knew if the Rotom had taken the Draco Meteor damage, I could have easily got into Lopunny and at least dealt with him with Fake Out or high jump kick. Not even Fake Out, just high jump kick in general, because it would have dealt with Scizor, done at least about half, and then it would have also dealt with Greninja, or it would have just taken out the Rotom entirely. But here I was really forced to try and play around it now because the situation I'm in sucks. Because now that I get a Wish off, instead of actually, having a bit more leeway with Heatran, I know that I'm going to be able to get this Wish off, but the fact that Rotom is still around and it's basically my Heatran is walled by Rotom makes this battle a lot more difficult for me to play around. So he ends up U-turning, obviously, and then he's going to go into Rotom or Greninja. And I get to at least get my Wish off because I know I'm trying to really, really hard to preserve my Heatran here because I don't have any other way of dealing with the Scizor right now. So I went into my Clefable here. It's really the only other bulky thing I have to deal with Greninja. At this point, I'm kind of certain he doesn't have Gong Shot. He hasn't gone for it, and he showed that he had U-turn, Hydro Pump. Not sure about Ice Beam, but I just have a feeling he wasn't carrying Gong Shot. Gets a crit, Clefable goes down, but if he would have gone for another Hydro Pump, then I guess that wouldn't really have mattered anyway. So I go into my Lopunny here. From here, the only thing I could do is just fake it out. And he's probably going to end up switching out into his Rotom here just to take the fake out, or his Scizor. And from there, I really can't do much. The fake out is going to bring him down to half, but even so, the high jump kick wouldn't be able to kill it, and I'm probably dead to a Bullet Punch anyway. But I ended up switching out to Heatran because, like I said, it's the best thing for me to go into against this Scizor, and he carries Roost, which just makes this thing so much more annoying. But the thing is, a high jump kick wouldn't have taken him out anyway, so that's where me staying in wasn't even that beneficial. So now he's going to go into his Rotom, and like I said, just the fact that this Rotom is still around makes it really difficult for me to use Heatran because, technically, if I got the Draco off and killed it off earlier in the game, then I would have had so much of an easier time between Heatran and Greninja, because either he would have sacked off the Heatran, or he would have sacked off the Scizor or sacked off the Greninja, and then maybe I had a bit more room to work with when coming in with Lopunny. High jump kick actually destroys that Rotom because it's a crit, so I kind of get like that pity crit at the end that didn't really matter because at this point, Bullet Punch is enough to take it out anyway. So that's a good game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. It's actually a really competitive game between just two friends, and if you enjoyed it, you can always leave a like. I love you guys very, very much. If you want to see more post commentary, let me know. I'm trying to be a bit more competitive. I'm probably going to do some competitive guides between Smogon, OU, and probably VGC when it ends up coming out next year. So I hope you guys enjoy. I love you guys very, 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 very much, and have a nice day.